Have you ever felt as if your dog was reacting to something that you could not see at all? Have you ever noticed your dog suddenly pressing close to you, placing its body between you and an empty space, staring or guarding as if something unseen were present? Padre Pio, one of the most mystical and spiritually perceptive saints of the Catholic Church, issued a remarkable warning about dogs that many people continue to overlook even today. What he revealed about these loyal animals has the power to completely change the way you see the dog living in your home, and it may finally explain behaviors you have witnessed but never truly understood. There was something Padre Pio knew about dogs that very few people recognized at the time, and even fewer recognize now. According to him, this knowledge may already be protecting you without your awareness. To uncover this mystery, I must begin by telling you a shocking story that took place in San Giovanni Rotondo, where an ordinary dog forever altered the fate of a family in deep crisis. A desperate mother traveled from Naples with her 8-year-old daughter, a child tormented by terrifying nightmares night after night. The girl woke screaming, drenched in fear, unable to rest. Doctors found no medical explanation, and every treatment failed. When the mother and child arrived at the monastery, something unusual happened. From across the courtyard, a stray dog appeared. Instead of keeping its distance, the dog walked straight toward the child, pressed close against her legs, leaned its body firmly against her, and wagged its tail with unmistakable intensity. The child froze, yet she did not recoil. She did not cry. Padre Pio watched this moment carefully. Then he smiled and quietly spoke words that would later take on profound meaning. And from that single moment, everything began to change. But before you understand why, you must first understand what Padre Pio believed about dogs and their true purpose. The first unsettling realization: dogs do not arrive by accident. Who could protect her better than one created to guard? Padre Pio said softly. What happened next astonished everyone present, including those who had doubted him for years. It confirmed what Padre Pio had taught privately to a small circle for decades about the spiritual role of dogs. Do you live with a dog, or do you know someone who does? Pause for a moment and reflect on that question, because after hearing this entire account, you may never look at dogs the same way again. What Padre Pio discovered about them may be happening in your own home right now, even as you listen. Stay until the end, because I will reveal 3 specific signs Padre Pio identified that indicate a dog is actively fulfilling a spiritual protective mission within a household. The third sign is the most surprising of all, and may explain why some people experience unexplained changes in their lives after welcoming a dog. To fully grasp what Padre Pio warned about dogs, however, we must first understand the extraordinary spiritual sensitivity of Padre Pio himself. Padre Pio and his ability to perceive the invisible. Padre Pio was not an ordinary saint. He lived at the threshold between the physical world and the spiritual one. He possessed an ability to sense realities invisible to most people. For more than 50 years, he bore the stigmata, the wounds of Christ on his body. He could read hearts, discern hidden intentions, and perceive spiritual disturbances long before others noticed anything was wrong. At San Giovanni Rotondo, where he spent most of his life, Padre Pio paid close attention to animals, especially stray dogs, that wandered near the monastery. According to fellow Capuchin friars, he had a particularly meaningful connection with these dogs. He was often seen placing his hand gently on their heads, speaking to them in a calm, affectionate voice, as though entrusting them with responsibilities only they could understand. To his closest disciples, Padre Pio once said, "Animals still perceive what humans have forgotten how to see." When he said this, he often referred to dogs, whom he regarded as guardians positioned between worlds. This belief was not symbolic to him, it was practical. It shaped how he advised families, how he interpreted unexplained suffering, and how he understood protection. A little known teaching dogs as spiritual guardians. According to Padre Pio, dogs possess a heightened sensitivity that allows them to detect spiritual presences and energetic disturbances beyond human perception. A dog is never just a dog, he often said. Watch how it guards how it places itself between you and the unseen. You will realize it is doing far more than companionship. These words were born from decades of observation. Padre Pio recounted that during nights when the physical pain of his stigmata became unbearable, a large brown dog would quietly appear and lie directly across the doorway of his cell. The dog did not sleep deeply. It remained alert, breathing steadily, watching the threshold. By dawn, Padre Pio's pain would ease, and the dog would disappear as silently as it had arrived. Yet what surprised him most was not the dog's presence, but its timing. From these experiences, Padre Pio reached a conclusion that few dared to consider. The event of 1947, that changed everything. In 1947, a distraught woman sought Padre Pio's counsel. Her home was plagued by unexplained disturbances, heavy footsteps at night, objects shifting without cause, an oppressive atmosphere that filled her family with dread. After listening carefully, Padre Pio offered advice that stunned everyone present. "You need a dog," he said. "Not just any dog, but one that would come on its own." The woman hesitated, but obeyed. 3 weeks later, a black dog appeared at her gate and refused to leave. Despite initial fear, the family took it in. Before I tell you what happened next, I must warn you that what follows may fundamentally alter how you understand the role of dogs in human lives. The first revelation, the double perception of dogs. Padre Pio's first major insight about dogs was what he called double perception. Humans, he explained, perceive only the physical world. Dogs, however, can sense both the visible and invisible realms simultaneously. This explains why dogs sometimes suddenly guard a doorway, growl at empty spaces, or press themselves firmly against their owners without any obvious threat. They are not imagining, Padre Pio explained. They are responding. He noticed that during particularly intense confessions, when a person concealed deep guilt or fear, dogs near the monastery often became restless, pacing, or positioning themselves near the confessional as if alerting him to spiritual distress inside. A family from Foggia and a miraculous change. In 1950, a family from Foggia brought their teenage daughter to Padre Pio. She suffered from relentless nightmares and anxiety with no medical explanation. Padre Pio gave the same instruction: allow a dog to find your home. Weeks later, a golden-colored dog appeared and refused to leave. Once adopted, it slept every night outside the girl's bedroom door. Her nightmares ceased entirely. When the family returned to express gratitude, Padre Pio replied, "Do not thank me. Thank the one who sent a guardian." Then he revealed the second truth. The second revelation. Dogs absorb and block negative influence. According to Padre Pio, dogs do more than detect danger. They actively absorb and block harmful spiritual and emotional influences. They do this through presence, through proximity, and through unwavering vigilance. Observe how a dog instinctively lies between you and an entrance, follows you closely during moments of distress, or places its body against yours when you are overwhelmed. This is not dependence, it is protection. During the bombings of World War II, Padre Pio noticed dogs gathering in areas that would later suffer the worst destruction. They barked, stood guard, and refused to flee. Yet one final revelation remained. The third revelation: the healing power of a dog's presence. Dogs do not purr, but Padre Pio emphasized their steady breathing, their warmth, and their physical contact. When a dog lies against someone in pain, their heart rate and breathing can stabilize the human nervous system. This is prayer through presence, Padre Pio said. When humans despair, dogs remain. Modern science now confirms what Padre Pio intuitively understood. Interaction with dogs lowers stress, hormones, regulates heart rhythm, and reduces anxiety. Padre Pio's practical guidance for daily life. Padre Pio offered 3 concrete recommendations for families living with dogs. First, observe your dog carefully, especially when it guards certain spaces or remains unusually close during emotional upheaval. Second, do not push it away when you suffer. If it seeks closeness, it is fulfilling its role. Third, in households with spiritually sensitive individuals, a dog may serve as the strongest natural protection. The final days of Padre Pio. Few know that in Padre Pio's final days, an unidentified dog appeared at the monastery and remained outside his room day and night. After his passing, the dog vanished without a trace. Father Alessio Parente later said, "It was as if it came to guard him until the end." Padre Pio always reminded people that dogs are not saviors, but faithful companions on the spiritual journey. When we honor and love them, we honor the divine order embedded in creation. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone living with a dog or enduring hardship. Perhaps their silent guardian has been there all along, waiting to be recognized. Remember Padre Pio's words, "Nothing is accidental." Sometimes grace arrives on 4 legs with unwavering loyalty and a heart trained to guard.